going to have our second day over law of signs. And so we're going to look specifically at the ambiguous case today. The ambiguous case is entitled, okay, side-side angle. So that means you know the side, and the angle in a triangle. Now, whenever you have the ambiguous case, there is a possibility that you can get no solution, you can get one solution, or you can get two solutions. The easiest and most efficient way I've found to do this is to always find two solutions. Okay, and you'll see what I mean when I say 0, 1, and 2. Okay, the biggest thing is we're always going to try to find two solutions though. So whenever you have side-side angle in a triangle, that means you always need to find two solutions. Now for those of you wondering, what does side-side angle mean? Say for example you had a triangle right here, and the triangle sides are 5, 6, and say for example we know this angle here is 60 degrees. That would be a side-side angle case, because you know side, angle. So now let's go ahead and look at the first example. The first example says to solve triangle ABC. Okay, solve triangle ABC. And so first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a triangle. I'm going to draw a picture for myself. Now, the picture doesn't have to be drawn to scale because all it is it's going to just be a reference for what is what. So I know that angle A is 20.5 degrees. I know that side A is 12 and side B is 31. So as you notice, I've got side, angle. 12, 31, 20.5, that's side angle. So whenever you have the side angle, you always need to try and find two solutions. So, sorry. Yep, you're right. It's not going to matter, still side angle. Okay? And so then now, what I need to find in this triangle is I need to find angle B, angle C, and side C. Now since this is a side angle case, I'm going to go ahead and write a second set of answers. And then that way I'll be reminded that I need to find two solutions. So now first of all, let's use the law of sines. Remember from yesterday, what would be my proportion that I would set up in this problem?
Sine of 20.5 over 12 equals sine of x over 30.
Sine of B over 31. Okay, there you go. That is what we would write down. So now what we're going to do to solve this proportion, this is different. You're not just going to be able to type something in and have the answer right away. Okay, what we're going to do is multiply these two and divide by 12. So multiply 31 times the sine of 20.5, divide it by 12, and then tell me what you get. And I want to 4 decimal places, please. So 31 times the sine of 20.5 divided by 12. What'd you get? 9047. Do I have a second?
Yep.
Okay, now if you notice, that doesn't mean that 0.9047 is angle B. That means that the sine of angle B is 0.9047. So in order to solve that for angle B, what are you going to do? Inverse sine. Very good. So you're actually going to take the inverse sine. Now the way to do that on your calculator, hit the inverse sine button, and then hit the second key, and then enter. And then what it does is it pulls up the previous answer. And so inverse sine of that, so angle B is what? 64.78 degrees. So that is 64.78 degrees. So now I notice that I've got another angle B that I need to find. How you find your second angle B, this is always the case. Whenever you start with your first angle, how you find your second angle is you always take 180 degrees minus 64.78. And that will be your second angle B. So that will be your second angle B. And what does that come out to be?
So instead of finding the other angle, you're
Just hold on. Okay, we're just finding our second angle B right now. So I need to take 180 minus 64.78, and what does that come out to be? 115.22. So when you find that first angle, if you have to find a second angle, you're going to take 180 minus whatever angle you find. So now what ends up happening is I have two triangles I need to solve. So this is what you're going to do. Okay? You're going to forget about the second angle we just solved. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it up right now, just so that you don't get, oops, just a second. Let's see if I can get that drawn in. Maybe not. We'll see. For some reason, I'm not getting that drawn in. Anyway, let's try it again real quick. Ah, there we go. Okay. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to disregard that for right now. I'm going to deal strictly with this. And so in this triangle, what I end up having is I end up having an angle B of 64.78. An angle A of 20.5. So how do you find angle C? Right. Subtract 180 from those. So I'm going to take 180 minus 64.78 minus 20.5. And what does that come out to be? 94 point what? 72. So that is what angle C is. 94.72. So now to find side C, okay, I'm going to go ahead and use an angle-side combination. So sine of 20.5 over 12 equals sine of what? 94.72 over side C. Very good. So this is from yesterday. So go ahead, multiply on the diagonal, and then divide. And then tell me what you get C to equal. You get C? Somebody else get 34.15?
I did.
Okay, so that is what side C is. And so now, quick check. Smallest angle in this triangle will be what? 20.5 is that opposite the smallest side of those three. Yep, is the largest angle opposite the largest side of those three. Yep, so this is a solution right here. This is your solution. Now, if you remember what I said we still have a second solution. So remember I covered it up because I didn't want it to screw us up. This is what I'm going to do now. And real quick, I'm going to go ahead and put that in the top layer. And there you go. So now what I'm going to do is deal strictly with this triangle now. In this triangle, I end up having angle B to be 115, and I end up having angle A to be 20.5. So how do you find angle C this time around? You take 180 minus 115.22 minus 20.5. And what does angle C come out to be that time? 44 point what? 28. Okay. And so then now to find side C, what you're going to do is you're going to take sine of 20.5 divided by 12 equals sine of 44.28 divided by C. So obviously you can see these two solution problems are pretty labor intensive, and they're going to take a little bit of work. So go ahead and calculate that, and then somebody needs to tell me what C equals.
Wait, would you get 44.28? Oh.
Got it? Okay, I could even, you know what, maybe I should put that there too. I'll do this, 44.28. So what does that C come out to be? 23.92, did somebody else get that? Great. So then now, real quick, let's go ahead and double check. Our largest angle is what? 115 is our largest side, 31? Yeah, and so we end up having that as a solution as well. So in this problem, I am going to have two full solutions. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. Let's try that. There we go. And there we go. Those are our two solutions. So notice each solution is separate from the other. So that's why I covered the one up. Okay, let's look at another one. Angle A is 42, side A is 22, side B is 12. Oh, let me get my pen. There we go. So A is 42. So here's A, B, C. So A is 42, side A is 22, side B is 12. So once again, I see that I know side, side, angle. So whenever I see side, side, angle, I need to shoot for two solutions. So I'm going to find angle B, angle C, and side C. Angle B, angle C, and side C. My very first thing will be to find what? Angle B. Good. Somebody tell me how I can find angle B. Good. Perfect. If you didn't catch that, it was sine of 42 over 22 equals sine of B over 12. So now to do this, we're going to go ahead and multiply along the diagonal. So 12 sine of 42 divided by 22. And then I need you to tell me what you get to 4 decimal places.
0.3649.
You got what, 0.3649 you said?
No, it would be 0.3651.
Okay, you know what, let's just leave it as 0.3649, and the reason why is because I actually want you to use that big, long number. Okay, I just put that here on the notes for you to follow along, but I actually want you to use that number in the memory of your calculator. And so now, in order to solve that, I'm going to take the inverse sine of that number. So when you do that, I need to know what B equals. So what is the inverse sine of 0.3649? Yeah. No, inverse sine.
It goes to answer divided by 22.
Okay, just a second. 8 point. There we go. Divided by 22. And then I'm going to do inverse sine of the answer. Okay, let's do inverse sine. Oh, yeah, just do the answer right here. I said answer as well. So you end up getting, what is your angle? 21.41 degrees. So that's your very first answer. Now let's remember, how do I find that second angle B? Yep, take 180 minus. So second angle B is 180 minus 21.41. So what's your second angle going to be? 158.59.
Why do you do that?
Because there are two values of sine for which that works. Okay, and so whenever you're given the side angle and a triangle, you never know if you're going to have two solutions, one solution, or 0 solutions. And so we're always finding two. All right, so now let's go ahead and look at the first triangle. So in the first triangle, I know that angle B is 21.41, angle A is 42. So how do you find angle C? Yep, angle C equals 180 minus 42 minus 21.41. So what does angle C come out to be? 90, what'd you say?
116.59.
116.59, do I have a second?
Yeah.
Okay, so 116.59. And then finally, what I need to do now is find side C in that triangle. So I'm gonna take sine of 42 over 22 equals sine of 116.59 over C. So in order to find that, multiply along the diagonal, divide by sine of 42. What does C come out to be? What'd you get?
29.43.
29.43, somebody else get that?
I have 29.4.
29.40?
I did 49.59.
Okay, so 29.40. Double check, biggest angle, biggest side, smallest angle, smallest side. Is that good? So this is a solution. So now what we gotta do is work on our second solution. So how do you find angle C on your second solution?
This isn't gonna work.
This isn't what?
It's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work. Why isn't it going to work?
Because you can't do what it was when you did
42 plus 158.59 equals what?
190.
It's bigger than 180. So since it's bigger than 180, you can't have a triangle, so this is where you get one solution. So we did two solutions, one solution. Let's look at this very last one. Okay, now obviously process of elimination, you think it's going to be no solution, but now we've got to show you why and how that occurs. So first of all, what we would do if we knew that this was a no solution, or if we knew that this was not a no solution problem, we'd go ahead and draw our triangle in. And we'd say, oh, wow, this is a side-side angle triangle. If it's a side-side angle triangle, I know that I need to have a possibility of two solutions. So I'm going to try to find two solutions. So we're going to do everything the same as what we did the first two problems. Everything the same. So if you remember, what we're going to do is we're going to do sine of 85 over what? 15 equals sine of b over 25. So go ahead and divide on the, or multiply on the diagonal, divide by 15, and I need to know what you get to 4 decimal places. 1 point what? Did you write it to the board? Oh. What'd you- 1.6603. So what would my next step be to do? Inverse sine. So what happens when you do that on your calculator? You get an error. Why do you get an error? Because it's bigger than 1. So since this number here, 1.6603, is bigger than 1, you get an error on your calculator because if you remember, sine, cosine only live between -1 and +1. So since that's an error, that means you can't do it, and this one is a no solution. Well, they're both no solution, but the whole problem is just no solution. You can't do either triangle. So that is done. Okay, you wouldn't even need to write it up there. If you wanted to write it down here, you could write it down here. No solution. Okay, so we've looked at two solutions, one solution, no solutions. What you need to do for me then is add to your assignment 10 through 18, 20, 22, and 24. Now real quick, I need you to turn in your book to page 298. We've got to talk about your homework. Okay, on page 298, 10 through 18. If you notice, it says find all solutions for the given triangle if possible. If no solution exists, write no solution. Now, if I remember correctly from yesterday when I was doing this. These you'll probably only get one solution or no solution. 20, 22, and 24 are gonna be the ones that you get two. So if you panic and look and you go, oh my gosh, I've got all these problems to do, it's really not as bad as you're gonna think. So that is the one you need to add. Tomorrow, we're looking at law of cosines and probably area of an oblique triangle.
Did we go over,